There is a kind of person who is difficult to explain. They dream about a better life, they think about getting a better job, going back to school, learning a new skill, moving somewhere new, starting something of their own. They have goals, they have ideas, they have ambition. Sometimes they even have more ambition than the people around them. But somehow they rarely seem to move. They save the job posting, they bookmark the scholarship, they save the course, they screenshot the opportunity, they add another video to their watch later list, and then they tell themselves, I'll do it soon. Tomorrow, next week, when I have more time, when I feel more motivated, when I'm finally ready, this is what I like to call the lazy ambitious. Not because they don't want anything, but because they want so much that sometimes wanting becomes easier than doing, and maybe that's why this kind of person can live with a strange contradiction. They can spend hours imagining the life they want, while spending almost no time actually building it. And if that sounds familiar, you might already know where this story is going. Because somewhere between the dream you keep thinking about and the life you're actually living, there is a distance. And sometimes, the hardest part isn't knowing what you want, it's taking the first step toward it. Imagine this, you are lying in bed late at night, you open your phone, and you find a job. It's exactly the kind of job you've always wanted. You read the description, you imagine yourself working there. Maybe this could be the beginning. So you save it. Then you find a master degree you've been thinking about. You save that too. Then a scholarship, save. An online course, save. A video how to build the career you want, save. A post about someone who changed their life, save. And for a moment, you feel good, almost productive, because something inside you says, at least I haven't lost the opportunity. It's still there, waiting for you, but days become weeks, weeks become months, and eventually you return to your save folder. And there it is, a digital graveyard of possibilities, job application you never submitted, course no, you never started, books you never opened, ideas you never tasted, dreams you never gave a chance to fail. And the strange thing is, you didn't consciously decide to give up. You just kept postponing the moment when you would begin. Until one day, you realize that some of those opportunities are gone. The application closed, the scholarship deadline passed, the position was filled, the course is no longer available, and suddenly, the thing that once gave you comfort, I'll do it later, becomes that thing that hurts the most. Because now you can do it later. But here's where things become more complicated. Because maybe you're not actually lazy. Maybe the word itself is hiding something. Psychologists who study procrastination have found that delaying an important task isn't always simply a problem of time management. Sometimes it's connected to how we regulate difficult emotions. Think about it. You have an important task, you know you should do it, but the moment you think about starting, you feel something. Anxiety, pressure, uncertainty, boredom, fear. Maybe the task reminds you of everything that could go wrong. Maybe it makes you feel inadequate. Maybe the goal is so important that failing at it would feel like failing as a person. So, what do? You avoid it. You scroll. You watch something. You clean your room. You organize your bookmarks. You make a new plan. And suddenly, the discomfort disappears. At least for a little while. That is the strange psychology of procrastination. The task hasn't changed, your future hasn't improved, but your emotion have. You feel relief, and that relief teaches your brain something. When I feel this uncomfortable, I can escape. So the next time the feeling comes, you escape again, and again, and again. This doesn't mean every person who procrastinates is secretly afraid. Human behavior is more complicated than that. But research does show meaningful relationship between procrastination, negative emotions, and stress. One recent meta-analysis covering 88 studies and more than 63,000 participants found a moderate association between procrastination and negative emotion such as depression, anxiety, and stress. So perhaps the question isn't always why I'm so lazy. Maybe sometimes the better question is what feeling am I trying not to feel? Sometimes the problem isn't the dream, it's the distance between where you are and where you think you should already be. You say, I want a better career, but suddenly that means learning 5 new skills, updating your resume, building a portfolio, networking, applying to dozens of jobs, preparing for interviews, facing rejection, starting over. You say, I want to go back to school, and suddenly you have to research universities, compare programs, find funding, take exams, write application, ask for recommendations, and your brain looks at all of it at once. The mountain becomes so large that you don't know where to place your foot, so you don't. You tell yourself you're waiting for motivation, but maybe you're actually waiting for the mountain to become smaller, and it never does. This is where ambitious people can become trapped, because the dream is real, the desire is real, but the first step feels painfully insignificant compared to the size of the dream. You want to change your entire life, but the only thing you can do today is send one email, open one document, read one page, spend 15 minutes learning, and somehow that feels too smaller to matter. So you do nothing. But here's something worth remembering. A life is rarely changed by one enormous decision. More often, it's changed by a collection of small decisions that seem almost meaningless at the time. And sometimes, there is another reason we wait. We are waiting to become the person who can finally do it. The disciplined version of you, the confident version, the motivated version, the version who wakes up early, who knows exactly what they are doing, who never gets distracted, who isn't afraid of failure, who knows the right answer before they begin. You imagine that person so clearly that your current self begins to feel like a disappointment. And this is where ambition can quietly turn against you. Because when the gap between your ideal self and your current self becomes too painful, starting can feel like proof of how far behind you are. So you wait, you research more, you plan more, you prepare more, you save another video, you buy another notebook, you create another schedule, but you still don't begin. Research has found links between perfectionistic concerns and procrastination, while the relationship itself is complex and depends on the type of perfectionism involved. In other words, striving for excellence isn't automatically the problem. The more harmful pattern can emerge when mistakes, inadequacy, or failure become emotionally threatening. Maybe that's why some people don't procrastinate because they don't care. Maybe they procrastinate because they care so much. It matters, the outcome matters, their identity is attached to it, and when something matters that much, beginning can become terrifying. Because once you begin, the dream is no longer perfect. It becomes real, and real things can fail. And so the cycle continues. You dream, you become excited, you make a plan, the plan becomes overwhelming, you postpone, you feel relief, time passes, you feel guilty, you become afraid that you've wasted too much time, then you become motivated again. You promise yourself this time will be different. You create a new plan, a new routine, a new list of goals, maybe even a new version of yourself, and for a few days, you believe it. Then life happens, the motivation fades, the discomfort returns, and you go back to what feels familiar. Dream, plan, delay, regret, repeat. The painful thing about this cycle is that every time you repeat it, you lose a little more trust in yourself. You begin to think, maybe I'm just lazy, maybe I'm not disciplined, maybe I'm not meant for this. But what if the problem isn't that you can achieve your dreams? What if you've simply spent too long practicing the habit of postponing them? Because the more often you avoid something, the more familiar avoidance becomes. And the more familiar avoidance becomes, the harder beginning can feel. Not impossible, just unfamiliar. So, how do you break the cycle? Maybe you stop trying to become a completely different person overnight. You stop asking, how do I change my entire life? And start asking, what is one thing I can do today? Not the perfect thing, not the impressive thing, the smells honest thing. If you want a new career, don't build the entire career today. Open the job application. If you want to study again, don't plan your entire academic future. Research one program. If you want to learn a skill, don't promise yourself 6 months of discipline. Practice for 10 minutes. If you've been saving opportunities, choose one, not 20, one. And this time, don't save it. Open it. Maybe you won't succeed, maybe you'll get rejected, maybe you'll discover that the opportunity wasn't right for you, but at least you will finally have an answer. And sometimes, an answer is more valuable than another year of wondering. Because the goal isn't to become fearless, the goal is to become someone who can move, even while feeling afraid.